안녕하세요.
So hi everyone, we're back with the second video, and as you have watched the previous one, that time we talked a lot about general things, and now we're going to talk about a different stuff, and today we're going to answer a question about the problems that we face on the airline, because you guys must be curious about how we deal with problems, right? Okay.
First of all, as a stewardess, what is the most difficult things that you have to do in the flight?
Oh, for me, it was a toilet check. For sure. Because there's a lot of people who doesn't know how to use the toilet.
Can you specifically explain like what kind of...
Okay, so normally the toilet, I think, I don't know, okay, first, they don't know where the trash bin is.
Yes.
So they don't put any tissue or whatever they use, they put it on the floor. So people have to pick it up, and sometimes people go on the top of the toilet and poo. So there's like a footprint on the toilet seats. You know what I mean? So you know, right?
Yeah, you have to
so
clean it.
you see the footprint. I'm like, what the heck is this?
No.
Yeah, that's the most difficult part for me, and yeah, I think a lot of people don't really know how to use cleanly, so that's the most difficult part for us.
You? Yeah. So I agree with the toilet check, but sometimes toilet check, if the toilet is clean, it's like a rest time for me.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, it's a
sure,
good rest time for me because you can take your time to check the toilet. But I think for me, when I was flying, the most difficult part for me was staying awake. It's really very hard to stay awake, especially when it's a red-eye flight, because
what is red eye flight?
Oh, means overnight. So you just have to, it means you have to stay up through the night. So we have rest, but we take turns to rest. So when it's not your turn and it's your time to stay awake, we really try really hard. I try really hard to stay awake. It's very difficult for me. I'm just like, and especially when the aircraft is really cold,
Yeah,
you tend to want to fall asleep.
Airplane is always cold.
Yeah, so that was the most difficult part for me.
But
staying
actually,
awake.
this is very important part that we keep our airplane cold because of you guys.
Oh.
Because it makes less you feel to faint. Like there's a lot of people who faint in the plane because of the heat, hits. Because when you're like when you drink a little bit of alcohol and the altitude is different, so a lot of people tend to faint.
Oh.
So
I've
that's
experienced
why we put the airplane cold. So please do not complain. It's cold. It's all because of you, and the blanket is there.
Use the blanket.
Yeah, please.
If you need, ask for another blanket, but 2 is maximum because there's a lot of people on the plane.
Okay, it seems like both of you have a very clean skin. Is there any special tips and tricks that a stewardess do to maintain their good skin?
I guess genetics.
Okay,
Thank you to my mom and dad. Thank you.
Basically, because there's a lot of people who always talk about, like 승무원, like stewardess, what kind of skincare they use. But naturally,
Genetics, right? For me, I use a lot of pack. The mask packs.
Mask packs.
Yeah. Right after the flight, I always
me too.
erase my makeup and then put the mask pack on
and sleep,
then,
right?
I mean, you need to take it off before sleeping.
Yes,
but
yes.
always the mask pack.
Because
I use every flight.
I think when we are on the flight, it's very dry, and a lot of the skin concerns that we have is very dry. So I think if we moisturize our face a lot, usually it's not that bad. I don't know, for me.
Yeah, my skin is already dry skin.
Yeah.
So that was the most important part for me to moisturize. But if you have an oily skin, I heard it's better to fly because it makes your skin dry. Yeah.
What about the weight? How do you maintain the weight? Because I believe that different airline has a different policy, but then it seems like many of you are trying to maintain weight. How do you guys deal with it?
Actually, for QR, there's no limitation of your weight. So you can be what kind of body shape you are. But for me, I prefer to be slim when I was flying. Not anymore, but when I was flying because because it's much easier to pass around the passengers. I didn't want it to hit someone with my butt. Or like I didn't want it to hit anyone, or if I had to, like if there's a milk cart in the middle, I wanted to pass through there
with the milk
with
cart.
the milk cart, and I just go through there. I can only do it when I'm like
Slim.
skinny. Yeah. So I used to just keep myself skinny, but
Yeah, by how?
how? It's actually it you can keep it naturally because you don't get to eat every day. You can eat whenever you have chance.
Also, I think like when we're flying, especially as stewardesses, we know that the food that is served on the airline is very high in salt.
Yeah, and high calories.
Yeah,
I heard.
so we don't eat the airline food. We will bring our own food. So I think that's how we keep our weight. And also when we're overseas, because we stay in hotels, right? So gym is free. So once in a while, we'll just go to the gym, walk, run, and yeah, I guess that's how we keep our weight. And we don't have time to eat. I think
Yeah,
sleep
we don't
was
have
more
time.
important for us. Every time we land, we just want to sleep first. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So since you guys are flying very often, how do you guys deal with the jet lag?
No, you don't deal with it.
Yeah.
It just hits you and
Actually,
you just take it.
I was a person who couldn't manage the jet lag, so
Me too.
I had sleeping problems very often, and yeah. So and also for us, keeping our health is the most important part. So
Yeah.
if I had a jet lag, I didn't go out. I just stayed in the
Oh.
hotel. I didn't care where I was. I just try to keep myself healthy, and I just try to keep myself strong so that I can fly another flight.
Yeah. So jet lag
It's not
is
traveling. Yeah.
it's very hard actually for every flying crew because I think it's going against our body rhythm and even the circadian rhythm of like our world. So I think you just try to sleep it off. Or a lot of the senior crew will tell me that okay, so for example, when you reach, if it's in the morning, you sleep a bit. You don't sleep until at
no.
night. You cannot do that. You have to sleep and you have to force yourself to wake up and follow the time of the country that you're in.
Yeah.
That's the most effective way. If not, you just follow the time that you came from, your country's time. So for example, even if it's a day, it's night in your country, you just sleep all the way and then you just keep following until you go back home. But that's when you cannot explore the country first.
Yeah.
It's a bit messed up.
Okay. Now tell us very honestly, what kind of customer behavior annoys you the most?
Like when people were asking me to wash their stuff, that was most ununderstandable thing to do. Like they bring their own cup and then they use it and then they ask me to wash it. So I'm like, you can wash it in the toilet. I just say that because it's not our mandatory job to do. I mean, I will do it with a courtesy if you have a baby on your hand or something like that.
Yeah.
But those kind of stuff. Yeah.
I think like we mentioned before, like the basic thank yous.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the basic thank yous. Because I feel like, yes, it's my duty and it's my job to serve you. So when I pass you like a water bottle or like I try to find a meal that you want, when I pass it to you, as general like human being, we want to hear like, oh, thank you, but we know that we don't get that all the time. So because we are meant to do it, but every stewardess or steward will really appreciate it if you just say thank you. It makes our like extra mile worth it, you know.
Okay, we heard that flying actually is bad for your health. Is it true? So before explaining this, tell us again how long have you been flying and what kind of health issue you deal with.
You can go.
For me, I have flown for 2 years, and I had an issue of hair loss and immune system. So I had some random, pimple on my body. Yeah, it wasn't acne. It was not small. It was really huge, like this big. And it always and I heard it was because of my immune system went low and stuff. So those kind of stuff I had, and I've seen another crew fainting in the middle of the day and those kind of stuff. But for me now, I'm not flying anymore. It's been about a year now. My last flight was April, so now my hair is growing back. I have so and now I don't have those kind of big pimple on my body anymore. Yeah.
I think for me it's about the same. Like our immune system is very low, and if I don't get enough sleep, I get very cranky and I fall sick really fast. And for me personally, I have a background of asthma, so when I fly and if I'm not well, I can't breathe on the aircraft because you know when we're on board we have to walk really fast. So when it's bad, like I really have to use my inhaler, and I haven't been using it for many years until I started flying again, and I had to use the inhaler again. So yeah, it was really bad for me at that time.
Oh, and one more thing. I had a like blood. What is it? Vein.
Okay.
Like your leg vein gets like
Bigger.
So my leg tend to bloat very easily.
Oh yes,
And, like,
yes.
I mean everywhere is like bloated, but like especially the leg
Legs,
is like
yeah, because you're always
so-
standing, right?
So I used to use like pressured stockings, those kind of stuff, and also the foot
Oh yeah, because when we have to wear stockings and shoes on board, and we're always walking very fast. So when we're walking fast, we always hit our
맞아.
nails on the
Yeah.
foot, right, like this. And because of that, our big toe is very bad. It's very like we have to really cut it until the inside. It's bad. It's still bad. It's still bad for me right now. It takes time to heal.
Mine is cured now.
Okay. Ready?
I have everything
that's
off now.
Okay, so this is the end of the second video, and for the last video, we're gonna do the tips and tricks.
Tips and tricks.
Yeah, this is maybe one of the video that
Everybody
your
should be
ex-colleague
looking forward
might not
to.
be happy with it.
Sorry.
Tips and tricks
Yep.
to get like served.
Yeah.
Ah.